Hello and welcome to the show. Now, when it was first announced that the Ram Runner was going to be in Forza 6, I saw an awful lot of people complaining, saying that this car doesn't belong in a circuit-based racing game. And I disagree with you, because often racing vehicles like this around tracks they really weren't meant to is the most fun that you can have. So that's what we were going to do. Now, initially I wanted to have these set up like the Super Stadium trucks, so when they corner they kind of lead and they have the front wheel wiggling around in the air. Sadly, I can't get a setup. I don't think Forza quite allows the trucks to handle like that. So instead we were going to run with the vehicles all completely stock. Our first race would go to the Sonoma short layouts, a track that I very much enjoy, and I thought it would be an interesting challenge with all of the elevation changes and the kind of medium speed corners around here for these rather large off-road racing trucks. Turn 1, the Turn 1, Turn 2 section is often interesting, and immediately we were going 3 wide, and 4 wide, in fact, further back. It took us all of about 4 corners to decide that 3 Ram Runners into the second and go up the hill. And this is very tough going 2 wide. Yeah, these guys, well, they tried 3 wide. 3 wide did not quite work for them. The guy on the outside wisely backed out as a few vehicles got forced out wide. Sadly, I was one of them that would get broken in all of the early chaos. Now, they may not have tripoded quite in the way that I had hoped that they would. We did have a few 2-wheel moments, though, from the vehicles. A number of trucks picking up onto 2 wheels. The vehicle we're following has a big dive up the inside. He spotted a gap. Now, you've got to be careful if you go for a dive at the inside there. It is quite easy for a vehicle to hold it around the outside, and that leaves you out to dry as we come up towards the S's. However, the yellow car did not quite carry enough speed, so would lose the position. In these opening laps, as you can imagine, there was lots of shuffling of positions. This coming up towards Turn 1, incredible bravery from the pink truck here is squeezed right up. There was a truck-sized gap there and very little more, incredibly close to the barrier. He gets away with it though, and it was worth it as he moves up a position. You've got to be careful with the tyre bundles. Tyre bundles are incredibly dangerous. You just have to brush them and they'll often sucker the car into a spin and spit you out in front of the onrushing traffic. So yeah, that was a close call. This mid-pack group, yeah, they were fighting pretty hard over all of the positions. The truck we're following was trying to sneak up the inside. The truck had run wide again. We're trying to fit 3 Ram Runners into a piece of road that's not really wide enough for 3 of them. In the end, the black truck backs out. There are a few vehicles using their off-road capabilities, shall we say. There was a rather generous interpretation of track limits from time to time with these things, as people were still getting used to the trucks, and well, we were trying to fit far too many trucks into far too smaller a space. We're going to go 2 wide. This is one of the fastest corners on the track. They try to go 2 wide, both outbrake themselves a little bit, run wide. You could get away with running wide though in these things because they could deal with the grass, ignore the lagged out grey truck. The cat liveried Ram Runner has come from absolutely nowhere, tries to get the pair of them into the final turn, does a great job. The red truck will run far too deep into that hairpin, not as deep as someone else in the background who smacked it into the wall, but ran far too deep into that one. The cat truck though did not quite have the drive. He took too narrower a line and would lose out in that particular moment. At the front, and this was the battle over second place, you could just about see the pink truck that was leading the way. Again, we're going up towards Turn 1. There's a bit of a squeeze on towards the time, and another vehicle that got very lucky that they just managed to find some space, and in all of that, the 2 squabbling over second are about to lose it all to a red Ram that's trying to go around the outside. He sticks a wheel on the dirt though, can't quite get alongside. Second place, he will claim that 3rd place briefly as the vehicles are fighting back as we run down the hill. It is a good overtaking opportunity if you're close enough, but everyone's on 2 wheels, and being on 2 wheels is not necessarily a good way of getting a decent drive out of the turn. One truck goes to the inside, and then we're going to go 3 wide again with another Mopar truck all over the curbs there. I don't think anybody quite expected him to have a dive up the inside there. He couldn't get the run off the turn, so he was slow. Now the red truck is fighting back on the outside. They touch as they go through the very high-speed S's. That puts one of the Mopar trucks sideways. They all get away with it. Somehow, after all of the 3 wide and 2 wheeled action, they all managed to survive it. Further back, there was the battle of the slightly broken Ram Runners. All of us have been involved in various incidents on lap 1 mainly. We were squabbling. This was like 16th, 17th, 18th, and so on. We were all fighting very hard over said position. I was driving the Hot Wheels truck for this one as one of the Ram runners gets past me. I tried to come back on the inside. I'm up on 2 wheels, not going to quite do it. The white truck in front of us is really very far up on 2 wheels, has almost rolls, almost spins as well. Does a great job of managing to gather it all back under control. It carries a bit too much speed through the next corner. I forgive people when you've just had your truck so far onto 2 wheels. In the background, somebody else is again on 2 wheels. Yeah, us broken trucks, we were having interesting times with getting up onto to 2 wheels. This was the battle at the front. Released from the squabbling Mopar trucks, the red Ram would catch up to the leader in the closing stages, and with just a couple of laps to go, was trying to find a way past. He gets a very, very good run off of that turn. The pink truck doesn't come across in time to cover the inside to defend, and the red Ram will get his vehicle up alongside. As I said, you've got to be careful. It's very easy for someone to come back at you if they can keep it around the outside, and especially in equal trucks. You stand a chance. However, the pink truck couldn't make that one stick. It was a great move by the red Ram. Unfortunately, a few lagged out vehicles, so ignore the ghost of the replay cars. It's just something Forza does. It always has. It's a strange thing. Either way, yeah, first and second would still finish remarkably close. A little bit more of a gap back to third place in this one. Had certainly been an exciting one for the majority of the field, and things were to only get crazier as around 2 we would go to Lime Rock. This is a much smaller, much narrower circuit, much shorter lap as well around here. And we've got a lot of very large off-road trucks racing around this particular track. Turn 1, well, already plenty of dust was being kicked up as a few vehicles tried to hold it around the outside and just couldn't quite fit everybody into that piece of road. Again, it took us less than 2 corners to be going 3-1 through this opening section, and a few of the vehicles not quite holding on to the tarmac, did not quite have the grip through there, and now it's just a solid line of Rams going down this part. One car got spat out the other side of that particular corner. This is the fast layout of Lime Rock as well. As we run up the hill, we get a lovely close-up of the truck ahead, and the problem is when you're in a group like this, if you do that kind of thing, you just slightly got into the back of a slower truck ahead, and that compromises this red Ram, and then the vehicles behind are having a look. He's far enough ahead just to keep the position, but you can see the train of vehicles going on behind them. So yeah, when you've got such a large group of cars, going too aggressive, trying to overtake the vehicle ahead, can cause you some issues. Now, I'd started towards the front and was battling for the lead. A little mistake on the outside of the last turn had put the 71 alongside. I tried to tough it out a long way around the outside of turn 1, but I couldn't make it stick. It's such a long way to go when you're driving identical cars. Couldn't quite carry the speed onto the inside for the next corner, and I get myself there, but I can't get across, which puts me on the outside for the next turn. Slight bit of a laggy bump between our 2 cars slows me down off the corner. Now I'm coming under pressure from the vehicle behind. Again, exactly the same as I was saying earlier. If you go too aggressive trying to overtake the car ahead when you've got lots of vehicles behind, it's not going to be long before one of them will line up and take the position away from you, and sure enough, I would drop back to third. I was trying to do a cutback. I didn't really fancy going around the outside there because there's a tyre bundle that you can get stuck in. I tried to get the sort of the cutback, get a good run down here. I was a little bit too far back to try anything because we've got a blue truck heading a long way onto 2 wheels across the curbs. And this was back to the midfield. Yet again, a big squabbling group of Rams. So many vehicles were spending their time side by side, and in these huge groups. I mean, we'll often see maybe groups that like sort of pairs and versus community, and other races we'll do. You'll see pairs, we'll see trios of vehicles. It's so rare that you get 5, 6 cars battling over one position. This lot tried to go 3 wide up the hill, and inevitably something went a little bit wrong. The cat truck got a long way on 2 wheels, as again you see a lot of vehicles getting on 2 wheels. They all bounced together, and there was a black truck that came off the little worse for wear, dropped to the back of this group, but amazingly they're still going side by side. After all of that, they still went side by side through 2 corners, and the Mopar truck somehow found himself at the front of this little group. You've got 5 vehicles, and they're on 2 wheels. They're slightly banging doors from time to time, but everybody was getting away with it on the most part. And at the front, the leader certainly wasn't escaping away with this one. We were continuing to put more and more pressure on this Ram. We just couldn't find a way past. He was doing a great job of fending us off. I'd got myself back up into second and was again being forced to try and go the long way around turn 1. I knew it wasn't really going to work going around the outside. I was hoping to try and get a cutback possibly, but I was just running a little bit too deep. And again, you see he was covering the inside very well, making it incredibly difficult. Now, I knew if I could stick around the outside of turn 2, maybe I could get it to the inside of the next corner. But now I've got another vehicle is trying to get past me, and this was helping the leader, because as we were squabbling over second place, it just gave him that little bit of a breather. You couldn't afford to really go too aggressive. Now it's a four-way battle for the lead. 5th and 6th were catching us as well. They were going much quicker since, well, they weren't fighting like this. The blue and white truck's on the outside. It's side by side up the hill. He braves it around the outside, but even if you keep it there, you're going to be on the outside for the next corner as well. You get a little bit more runoff here, so if things go wrong, you can get away with it. I'm on 2 wheels, run a bit wide. He gets stuck out on the outside, and the Mopar truck is going to get the pair of us after a little battling for that corner. He's up the inside into the final corner. I don't have the grip. I gave it a go. I'll keep my foot down, though, across the grass. You carry so much speed across the grass with these things. So, you know, if you did get things a little bit wrong like that, you could get away with it in the Ram Runners, whereas a normal car, probably not so much. And now I'm coming under pressure into turn 1. So, yeah, the Mopar truck did a great job of making the most of that particular situation. Guess how many Rams we're trying to fit into one piece of road yet again. I can't believe how many times in such inappropriate vehicles everyone was trying to go 3 wide. It was incredible. Up towards turn 1 yet again. The middle truck didn't fancy it, braked a little bit early, and sure enough the other trucks, trying to be the last of the late breakers, couldn't stop in time and would run a little bit too wide through turn 1. Someone's completely escaped the road on that instant. I mean, these things were... You had to be aware they don't have amazing grip. They are quite heavy. I mean, the brakes aren't fantastic. It's not bad, certainly. I mean, you know, if you compare it to a light sports car, sure, they're not going to get stopped as well. But, yeah, they're relatively decent to drive. They just don't quite have the ultimate overall grip. So, yeah, people pushing it a little too hard in close action was not an uncommon sight. But again, I mean, you ran wide with these things. It wasn't the end of the world. So, yeah, you could get away with little mistakes. At the front, and still the 71 led the way. It was now a 6-car battle for the lead. 7th and 8th were catching up to join in as well. He was doing his utmost to defend and done a fantastic job. Unfortunately, it was only a matter of time under increasing pressure. 2-wheel moment across the curb and a little bit too much speed put him out wide and across the grass, and that was going to cost him his lead as the Mopar truck would find a way past. I tried to follow suit and promptly lagged out. I was very, very annoyed at that point. And still these guys are fighting, though, as we go on 2 wheels at the top of the hill for the 71. It was, a little bit unfortunate for him in that particular instance. And, he may have lost the lead, but he's still got an awful big battle going on with this group now in second place. So you can see the grey truck. There was an orange truck around as well. I think he may have fallen off the road. At some point was catching this group as well, as the fighting was just so fierce up at the front. And again, same corner, just running a tad wide. And that would allow another truck to get up the inside. When you've got such a train of vehicles going on behind you, just the tiniest little of mistakes, and that is so close. There was millimetres to spare between the wall. He tried to hold it on the outside and lost 2 places for his trouble. In all of that, yeah, tiniest little mistake can be quite costly when you've got this many vehicles behind you. And at the front, just a lap later, it was the Mopar truck that would go on to take victory in an absolutely phenomenal race. Sonoma had been good fun, don't get me wrong. Sonoma had actually been quite an entertaining race, but Lime Rock was phenomenal. It's just incredible. I'm really annoyed I lagged out. It would have been a 6-car battle for the lead in the closing couple of laps. The end, yeah, it's still a 5-car battle for the lead for the entire race. That is something quite incredible. Around Lime Rock, our final race, we would go to the Hockenheim short circuit, a track that has always produced some fantastic racing. And after such an amazing Lime Rock round, who knew what we were going to get here? We were expecting a lot from this car and this track. A lot of people ran wide, mostly because people got on 2 wheels. The curb on the inside at turn 1 here is notorious for firing vehicles up onto 2 wheels. These things go on 2 wheels quite easily. A lot of cars on the inside hit the curb, went on 2 wheels, and forced any cars on the outside out wide. So a lot of cars escaped the track on lap 1, and we're immediately trying to fit far too many dodges into a tiny place. There was 2, 3, I'm not even sure if they weren't 4 wide. Let them go pretty sure they're 4 wide at some points in all of that. They kind of sort themselves out and then decide, oh no, we'll still go 3 wide. It's still 3 wide up here now. You do not want to be stuck on the outside, as me and this number 8 truck find out. You kind of get squashed into the wall a little bit. That caused a few problems. I think both me and the white truck both ended up scraping the wall. You saw a few vehicles sort of reacting, trying to dodge that. There's a truck out in the gravel, not exactly unsurprising through that corner either. Very easy to end up out there. And then sort of track limits became vague suggestions as we tried to fit 5 Rams into places they shouldn't really. There's 4 Rams here trying to all scramble their way across. I think they do go up to almost 5 at one point. It's, yeah, absolutely crazy. And again, we see a similar thing. Trucks on the inside get up on 2 wheels. They come across. They force the trucks on the outside to take avoiding action. Fortunately, plenty of runoff on the drag strip there for everybody to avoid, and it's just chaos. Absolute carnage on this opening lap as far too many trucks try to fit into a tiny piece of racetrack. After the opening lap, it did settle down slightly. It was never exactly calm with these vehicles, but it wasn't quite 5 Rams into the final corner. As we have a pass going on, this is such a fast corner. It's difficult for normal cars to get overtakes done through that particular turn. Let alone going side by side with Rams. You really don't want to get stuck on the outside there. Everybody's pushing it a little too hard, under brakes into the hairpin. I think on the second lap, almost everybody ran wide at the hairpin, trying to overtake cars and in battles and so on down there. Run up towards the second to last corner. We were again seeing plenty of 2-wheeled antics. They might not quite have handled in the way that I wanted, in the sort of the proper Super Stadium truck way, but their habits of going on 2 wheels still made for quite amusing, quite spectacular action. We run down this start-finish straight again with solid 2x2 almost up towards turn 1. Blue truck just ducks back into line. Turn 1 is a bit of a scary corner going 2 wide through here, and sure enough we again see this similar thing. The trucks on the inside end up getting up onto 2 wheels, and the vehicles on the outside are forced to take avoiding action, which often means using a little bit of the runoff area. The sort of grey and red truck was trying to look around the outside, couldn't do it. You'd often find yourself getting boxed in because the vehicles ahead were battling. You might have been quicker than them, but there just was nowhere to go for the vehicles. I had started down the order again in this one, was trying my best to make progress through this field. It was very, very difficult to make progress because the vision in front of you is solid trucks. Again, look at all of the vehicles on 2 wheels. I was one of them, getting my Ram quite a long way on 2 wheels as we come down this start-finish straight. Again, we're looking at 2 wide. I was almost making it 3 wide up towards turn 1, the black truck on the outside. A little bit slow off the corner, was also happy to let us go through here, and everyone's on 2 wheels yet again. I think one of the pink truck on the outside there pushed his luck, probably bounced it off the outside curb and got it pointing the wrong direction. Still, we go solidly 2x2 into this second corner. Now, normally, maybe on the first lap of a race, perhaps onto the second lap, we'll see quite a few vehicles going 2 wide. I don't think I've ever been in races, even the van racing, even the limo racing that we did. We spent so much time with these side by side, with sort of like solid lines of 2x2. It was incredible that these vehicles, these are vehicles, okay, they were designed to go racing off-road, not designed for this situation whatsoever, and yet there was still so much going on here. The 2-wheeled antics continued. This lot here were all fighting over about 3rd place, and everyone was on 2 wheels through the final couple of corners. If you could keep the car off 2 wheels, the chances are you were probably going to be going quite quickly, because you're just losing time when you go up on your side. Again, we're looking at going 3 wide into turn 1, and again the black truck does the sensible thing of let's not force the issue. And a similar story repeats itself with everybody going on 2 wheels through the first corner and causing some issues. It was a spectacular sight and a hell of a lot of fun to be taking part in, because you were just constantly racing something. There was something to overtake, something to defend from. The leaders had absolutely buggered off. At the front of this train, the grey and red truck was 3rd place. First and second had buggered off. They'd started, it was the cars that had started on pole and in second, and had got away from all of this chaos. And if you can run in clean air, you can go so much faster. When you're in battles like this, it's really hard to make progress. Of course, everybody in completely identical vehicles. Trying to get past somebody can be quite difficult, even at a circuit like this where there are plenty of overtaking opportunities, which meant the racing was phenomenal. We kind of end up breaking up into two groups. There was third to about ninth in one group, and then the rest of us in this sort of train of vehicles, as the pink Ram here goes for my favourite of the overtaking spots, that second to last corner. Great place to have a dive on an unsuspecting rival. Both of them, though, going on two wheels. You saw the white truck on the outside. It's a big two-wheel moment. Pink truck tries to get him on the insides on two wheels. As the laps progressed, we didn't quite have constant two wide through every corner, but we stayed in these huge groups of vehicles. That is a massive two-wheeled moment from a bunch of cars in this group, and I'm on two wheels as well. The 8 truck here is up the inside into turn 2, trying to make the move stick, and can't quite get it fully done. The truck still remains alongside. I'm side by side with somebody behind. The pink truck's in the middle of this lot. And now we're back to being side by side all the way down the back straight. Yeah, the amount of close racing that we were getting from these trucks, we eventually all fall into line through these fast corners, was phenomenal. This is easily one of the most exciting races I've ever been a part of. I was outside the top 10 and I didn't care one bit. At the front, though, it was much quieter. As I said, first and second vanished at the front of the field. The truck you see getting out of the way there was a lap-down vehicle, having had to go to the pits to fix some damage early on. These guys were miles ahead. You can just about see, it was the cat truck that was in second. You can just about see him in the background here, and then you can't see the rest of us. We're just coming around the second to last corner now. That's third place. Had such a huge margin over the rest of the field, because this is what was going on. So while them guys were busy at the front, just sort of circulating on their own, this was the final lap for the battle for third place. Now, the race started off pretty crazy. The opening lap was a pretty intense one, and the final lap, certainly the third, was to carry on that theme. So at third place, it stayed in third for a large part of the race. Made a mistake coming around the second to last corner. Got himself a long way on two wheels, got fired out wide across the drag strip, and now he's coming under fire down towards turn 1. Now, you don't really want to be stuck on the outside. You're at the mercy of the car on the inside. If he drags wide like that, you're going even wider than him, and the poor red truck gets stuck out there. He does keep his foot down. He manages to kind of keep the position, but he's still stuck on the outside. He tries to do the cutback, can't quite get his truck alongside. They've both, again, run a little bit wide. It's too wide further back. Now the pink truck is getting involved. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to get alongside. It's 2x2 further back. There's a blue truck just watching all of this, waiting for the chaos to unfold in front of him. And still we go side by side. Nobody wanting to give up their positions. There is again a little bit of bumping. The blue truck gets a really big slide on his own, and nobody has anywhere really to go to get out of the way. He gets unfortunate in all of that. I think he probably might have got a little bit sideways off a curb, most likely anyway, for his vehicle. The two blue trucks are fighting through that fast corner. Now we're again all trying to find ways past into the hairpin. They can't quite do it. The black truck's going for around the outside. It's a really good run out of the hairpin. We're on two wheels. The cars wiggle their way up to this second to last corner. They're side by side. A vehicle gets fired off out wide, trying to avoid the chaos, and then there's a black truck on two wheels. He can't get it steered. He ends up in the tyre bundles and pings one of the blue trucks across the road, and somehow they all just about make it across the finish line. The pink truck claims third, the Mopar one fourth, and the red and grey one gets fifth. It was incredible racing with these. They were an awful lot of fun to drive. Yes, they are not designed for circuit racing whatsoever, and they are still absolutely fantastic. It was incredible racing from these things. Yeah, Hockenheim, there was some liberal use of track limits, and a little bit of bumping went on from time to time. But on the whole, it was an absolutely incredible race. Lime Rock was fantastic as well. I mean, Sonoma was not a bad race at all, but it looks practically dull compared to the other ones. It was a good place to start with these. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. These Ram runners are incredible. I highly recommend you give these ones a go as well. Go racing with the Ram runners. Be careful, they will like to go up onto two wheels. Kind of makes it all a little bit crazier and a little bit more interesting trying to sort of manage that issue as well. It is, well, I mean, you saw how much time we spent racing side by side with many Dodge Rams around you. So yeah, go give this one a go. It is an awful lot of fun. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.